Hey y'all, Lisa Van Ness here, and today I'm joined by customer Zachary.
Hi.
And Zachary is going to let us take a peek at his collection, and we're going to talk ink just a little bit because some people like to match their inks, Zachary being one of those people. Not always though, right?
Yeah, it kind of depends. Sometimes contrast is good, sometimes matching is good.
So let's take a look and we'll cover, let's see, what's your favorite pen in all this?
Well, I thought I'd start with something else, just a little special. This is the first pen that I ever bought here.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's a, I guess, Pilot 74. I
Can't remember.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Okay. It was a Bung Box custom edition pen. I came in looking for something a little different, and Lisa pulled it out of the back and said that she had something a little unusual.
And you've been a customer ever since.
Yep, she sold me over. In terms of my favorite pen, that's really hard to say.
I know it changes.
Yeah, it changes constantly. I think maybe for me that would be right now. I have a Conid that I've been using quite a bit. This has become my work pen. I have orange ink in it to match the hard rubber
Do you
ends.
remember what color the ink is?
It's KWZ Monarch.
Okay.
And just another pen that I like. I'm really into safaris right now.
Show them the end so they
Sure.
can see.
It's kind of hard to see all of them, but I've been working on collecting all of the yearly editions of the safaris. Got a couple others that I left at home. Almost there, not quite, but I've been using the new 2018 Black Safari.
Not to be confused with the regular line charcoal.
Yeah, or the glossy black. So yeah, those are some of my favorite pens.
Okay. And let's take a look at the variety that you have, because I know that over time your collection ideas have changed. Like
Absolutely.
the things that interest you have changed. So let's go maybe brand by brand.
Sure.
Pick out one or two from each brand.
Sure. So with Pilot, without a doubt, my favorite two are going to be the Custom 823 with that vac filler. I mean, it's amazing. Or that's vac filler, right? And then
This is in a lot of people's top 5, really.
yeah, I actually bought it because of Matt from the Pen Habit. He talked about how he'd been won over despite the fact he thought it was a boring pen, and it's a great pen. And then I love the Decimo. I use a Decimo or a vanishing point at work constantly. It's definitely something great, to be able to pull out of your pocket and just write with. Everybody talks about it, but I probably write with these more at work than anything else in my collection. Let's see. I really like Sailors. In particular, I like the Sailor limited editions, which is kind of a dangerous game.
It's cool.
Yeah, so I have a Sailor that I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of, but was commissioned as a special edition for the studio that made the Speed Racer cartoon in the 60s, which is super cool. It has a little seahorse on the nib.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that one in the store. You've shown us.
Yeah,
He does usually show off his newest arrivals, because you have to come hang out and show people that appreciate your pens, right?
Well, yeah, and I mean, that's kind of one of the great benefits of a local pen store is, like, so much of this stuff, particularly, like, say, the Franklin Christophs, I never would have bought if I hadn't been able to look at somebody else's in the store. Same kind of thing with Sailors. I heard a lot of amazing things online, but once I was able to see somebody's Sailor, I was like, wow, this is really cool. It writes different than some of the others. And as for another favorite Sailor, this is Sailor 1911 Small, or medium, that I purchased when I first started collecting pens, and I've probably written more letters with this than any other pen in my collection.
So when did you start collecting? You did it in college, right?
Right. My grandfather was a pen collector, and I really started collecting probably about 6 or 7 years ago in college. I went to a pen store in another state and said, my grandpa has Mont Blancs. How much are those? Thinking that'd be a $50 pen or something, and was in for an education. They showed me some cheaper Schaeffers, but I did purchase one, but it wasn't really for me, kind of my writing style. The nib was a little too big, and I used it for a while, but when I was here in Arkansas for college, I was reading. I can't even remember now. I was reading something in like a local website that mentioned Van Ness and how long they'd been around, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I'm going to go over there and pick up some ink so that I have something besides black ink to put in this pen." And it kind of just exploded from there. I'd come over here and kind of drool at the pens, and when I was in college, I really couldn't afford anything. But once I started working, I realized that there's a lot of cool stuff, a lot of interesting inks, and I love to match inks to my pens, and so that's really been a big thing for me is finding a pen I like and then finding an ink that I feel like really goes well with the pen.
And we usually are able to accommodate.
Yeah, sometimes too well. I was over here last Saturday with a good friend of mine, and we were looking at pens and finding sometimes 2 or 3 inks that went with the pen. It's like, you can only put one ink at a time. Yeah.
Well, and especially when you go to something like this, where you have several colors in the pen. So I do remember this one because you were super proud of it.
Yeah. I got that pen at the Arkansas Pen Show this year. A really awesome member of the pen club.
Was it Sam?
It was Sam.
Yeah. He's been on here.
Yeah. Sam pulled that aside for me. And he made me a good offer and a good deal, and I was able to get the pen, and it's really been kind of a centerpiece of my collection.
It's so pretty, and you have multiple inks that can kind of pair well with it.
Mm-hmm.
So these materials that they did were just nothing beats them. I sat there and pulled it out without.
It's no problem.
So you have the Somos that we know that now they know, and I already knew was something that you loved, and you have your Sailors, which are your favorites. Vanishing Points, also your favorites. Pilot A23, also your favorite.
I have a lot of favorites.
The Conad was something that you had waited a while to get.
Yeah.
That was like a next level pen for you.
Well, and when she says wait a while, I mean, I think I first heard about the Conad like 4 years ago, and it took me 4 years to be willing to commit to something like that. That's sort of an in-game pen, I guess you might say. Like, there's not really... That's one of my favorite pens.
That's one of your Grail pens.
That's one of my Grail pens. Yeah. And I was very fortunate in being able to get that pen when I did, because I only had to wait 3 or 4 weeks, and I know some people can wait longer for that. So I'm really happy with it.
It's a great pen, and I do enjoy writing with Conads.
Yeah.
I personally do. Let's see, what else have we got here?
Can I show this one off?
Oh, yeah. Hello. You got to show that off.
I have what I call my Lisa pen. My Van Ness Special Edition Franklin Christoph 45. And I actually tend to fall pretty similar to Lisa with the inks that I like in terms of turquoise and stuff. So this pen's gotten a lot of use because, it's bright color for turquoise.
And there's still a waiting list for that pen right
Yeah.
now. No matter when this comes out, there's a waiting list for it.
Yeah. I mean, you could watch this in a while, and it's...
So you have 3 Franklin Christophs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And let's see, what else have we got? Let's talk about a few, because you do have a few vintage mixed in.
Sure.
What's one? So here's a Parker.
Sure. We can talk about that one first, I guess.
Well, which one was... One of these belonged to your granddad, right?
That's the Parker.
Okay. So
yeah.
This came from your granddad.
Yeah. So this is a Parker 51 that I inherited from my grandfather. This was probably his favorite pen in his collection. And the way he came about getting this pen is what makes it so interesting. It's just for the most part, a normal Parker 51. I think it has a chrome or chromium, I'm not sure what they called it, cap. But the pen itself is nothing too spectacular. What's so special about it, though, is my grandfather worked as a security guard at a Catholic hospital and became friends with several of the nuns. And one of the older nuns, before she passed away, said, I know you appreciate pens, I know you appreciate writing and sending letters and things like that, and gave him the pen that she had gotten when she joined, I guess, the order that she was part of, as well as a mechanical pencil set, and wrote him a beautiful handwritten letter just talking about all the things that she'd done with the pen throughout her life. And I imagine it actually came here for repair a couple of times, because she, towards the end of her life, she couldn't find anybody who would repair the pen, and she was here in Arkansas, so I know she
Most things came here.
Yeah, she
we got a lot of
had
things
stuff
in the
here at
mail.
some point.
We still do.
Mike had mentioned that to me, that he still gets a lot of requests for stuff like this. So, but yeah, it's really a special pen to me, both because of how my grandfather got it and because of how much he cared for the pen. You know, a lot of his pens would have ink sit in them forever, or just, you know, I'd go to clean them, I'd go over to visit him and clean his pens, and they'd have like crusted ink. But this pen never did. It always stayed clean, and it always was freshly inked.
So that tells you how much you enjoyed it and used it.
Absolutely. So I'm very proud of it.
Is there any others? Let's see. What's another one that you have? He has a wide.
Yeah.
He has a vast array. Let's see. What's in here? So we have some more sailors, another vanishing point, a pelican.
Yeah, the pelican I actually.
Hello.
Oh yeah, and then I have my Van Ness 80th anniversary pen.
And what ink did you end up going with in this?
That has Bungbox 88.
Which is one of the ones that I recommended for it.
That's probably like one of my top 3 inks too. So.
And you already had that ink.
Yeah.
So that was already in some among your favorites. We had probably, I bet, a 45-minute discussion on what inks we felt like would match this pen, because it does have, you know, a lot of different details in color variation, even though from far away it doesn't look like it. You know, in person it has some gold, and it has some green, and some brown, some copper even, and a little bit of black. And that Bungbox 88, I felt like suited it well. There's a couple others that suit some of the other pens, because they do have such a variety. Your sister's has almost an opaque look to it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I didn't even think about that when I said it.
my sister's an employee here at Van Ness.
So he was a customer here, and I am always looking for employees, it seems. And at the time, I was frustrated. He happened to come in when I either had a bad interview or the person didn't show up, and I don't remember which it was, but I was like, I need help. So he said, well, my sister's in college 30 minutes away. And I said, does she like pens? Yeah, she has a few. And so she is an employee and has been for 2 years. So it worked out really well.
Yeah.
Her interview consisted of, show me your pens.
Yeah.
You're hired.
She had I think a Parker Parquet or something like that.
2 vintage and 1 modern. I think it was a Safari or something.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, because so many people had done badly. She was early for the interview. She was adorable. She's a college student interested in fountain pens, so she had a flexible schedule and didn't mind working weekends. So it was really great. And he was already a customer, and so I guess I just trusted in that fact. Plus, you're from Mansfield. I know my way around Mansfield. So anyway, that's a little side note that I didn't mean to include, but it ended up being. I forgot about it until I actually said it. So anyway, so let's talk about inks that you have in your pens. What ink do you keep? What's your favorite ink?
So these are the pens that I had inked up today when I came in. So I guess I can tell you about what I have in these, because I may need your help remembering the name of a color. So this is a sailor. And it has Ackerman 11, I believe, which is probably one of my favorite inks ever. It's just a great color.
Mine too.
Bungbox 88 I already mentioned I liked, which, side note, at the pen show that I attended a little bit earlier this year, every single person who asked me, what color ink should I get here, I told them Bungbox 88. So I hope there's somebody watching this video who bought Bungbox 88 because of that. Because I told so many people. And let's see, this pilot has,
should have had you write them down ahead of time.
Yeah, I should have done that. It has, I believe, oh my gosh.
This is a quiz.
Yeah. I believe it has Waterman Blue Black in it.
Okay. You can't go wrong with the Waterman ink.
Yeah.
I forgot about this one, the June Bride, because I have this one as well.
Yeah.
So, June Bride something blue. It's also a Bungbox, but it's a Kaweco.
Yeah.
I think technically Kaweco. And he got the gold version. I got the silver version. I wanted the gold, but So you have a broad nib in there, so it
Yep.
writes really nice and wet.
Yeah, that was actually probably the first broad nib I ever wrote with, and was like, okay, I see why people do this. Most of my writing's at work, so I tend to do fines, extra fines, stuff like that.
But when you have the opportunity to have fun with your pens, then
Mhm.
italics and broads are kind of
Well,
nice.
that's what I have in this pen is a stub nib,
Okay. Oh, that's right.
which was kind of like a big jump for me because normally stub nibs are kind of scary to me. I've had to learn how to write correctly, which I think is sometimes a problem with some younger folks, myself included, learning how to hold the pen like a pen and not like a ballpoint.
That's true. I didn't think about that. I do correct people a lot, but
These are two vintage pens that a local pen collector, Fern.
oh yeah, Fern's been on too.
Fern helped me restore here one Saturday. Different, I believe, French celluloids. And what was really cool when we restored these was not just seeing how the pens were restored or resacked, but was there were actually a couple of very young kids here that day who I think they had a family member who was shopping for a gift or something. And so Fern actually sat there with them and talked about, the different parts of the pen and things like that. And it was kind of cool to have that interaction with,
Young people.
yeah, with
Really young people.
Right.
Like under 12-year-old
Yeah.
people.
And they were fascinated. I mean, he probably could have, of course, that man can carry on a conversation like nobody else, but
That's true.
he's an interesting guy. But he taught them and me in the course of that so much about both these pens and just vintage pens in general. which was
And
super
I do
cool.
want to say, that is a plus to having a physical brick and mortar. When we consider
Mhm.
that we do online sales, the brick and mortar part, you can't, I can't place a value on things that happen like that.
Right.
Or the opportunity to just sit down and dig through until you find exactly what you're looking for. But the repair portion is something we don't really talk about probably enough. And Mike will teach you how. He won't just do it, although sometimes he will just do it. But and you have Fern come in, and Fern helps us with the repairs as well. And he's done a couple of videos. But you get that interaction that gives you I don't know, you just feel positive and encouraged when you leave, and you're excited and ready to write.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's also something about being around other pen people.
Well, as an example of being around other pen people, this is a platinum that I bought here when these first came out. I can't remember.
Shungo?
Yeah, Shungyo. And the only reason why I bought it was because I was, in fact, sitting at this table with 4 other guys who were all looking at these pens. And one person said, I think I really want to get this pen. And then another person was like, yeah, I really like how this one writes. I think I'm going to take this one I'm looking at. And it's like, oh, no, there's only 2 left. Time to buy a pen. But, I mean, it's really...
a platinum.
Right. And I have a platinum. The platinum that I have was one of my first pens. It has a medium nib in it. This has a soft fine. And I probably would not have purchased the soft fine if I hadn't actually written with it, because it was kind of...
I like soft fine.
Right. It's a little different than the rest of my nibs.
It's not springy exactly, but it has, I guess, give, compared to the regular. And it falls, so line-wise, it falls right in between. So it's kind of cool.
Right.
And it's okay to use on the bad paper that you may have at work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a huge consideration for me. Like, I know this might make some people cry, but the vast majority of these pens are fines or extra fines because above everything else,
for practical reasons,
right? I'm going to write with these pens, and if I'm going to write with a pen, I need to have a pen that will work on not so great paper, or will work, if I'm trying to do something in a hurry.
You need to put it on a sticky note.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's it.